So here's a very interesting thing that shows you how censorship works around the Ukraine war. So if there's one thing that's for sure, Google and YouTube, they're in bed with the national security state, right? I mean, Google has they have contracts with the CIA and what have you. Okay, and they do their bidding. And so here's Matt Taibbi. He tweeted this out. Wow, YouTube removing Victoria Nuland. What's with the four names? With Victoria Nuland call. That's the other. Oh no, she's talking to the other guy. I thought that was like her.
Yeah, hyphenated, right?
It's the Victoria Nuland Jeffrey Pyatt call. I thought it was her. I thought she was using a hyphenated name. That's because I'm dumb. Wow, YouTube removing Victoria Nuland Jeffrey Pyatt call showing U.S. involvement in the Maidan coup. The Yats is our guide tape. This is how the alleged fight against misinformation will be used to cover up damaging truths. This is from Consortium News. So there's this video. So we've told you about this. So when the United States helped overthrow the government in Ukraine in 2014, Victoria Nuland was at the head of the State Department, and she was caught on a phone call. Did WikiLeaks get it? Somebody released this phone call that got recorded. And it was her planning on who should be running Ukraine. After the United States helped overthrow the government, she's choosing their leaders. And this video, YouTube took down. It was the most popular video. Well, here, I'll show you what it was. I'll show you a part of it. Here's part of it.
I think Yats is the guy who's got the economic experience, the governing experience. He's the guy, what he needs is Cleach and Tony Book on the outside. He needs to be talking to them 4 times a week, I just think Cleach going in, he's going to be at that level working for Yatsenyuk. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, no,
So there's much more to this, but they are talking about who they're choosing. The United States State Department is choosing to run Ukraine after we do a coup. And so the coup in 2014 is the starting point that led all these events culminating in Russia's invasion. So that was the start of this war in Ukraine. That was it. So the coup, that is the starting point for everything that's happening now. And that phone call reveals that the United States had a big hand in that coup in 2014. Removing this video would be consistent with the suppression of any information that falls outside the enforced narrative of events in Ukraine, including whitewashing any mention of the U.S.-backed coup. They never mention it, do they? They never mention it in any of the coverage. Do they mention that? Do you see it mentioned, Kurt or Jackson, that the U.S. did the coup in 2014 in Ukraine?
I heard it was just a democratic, spontaneous.
No, is that a no?
I don't have any idea what.
Okay, Kurt, have you heard anybody?
Nina Yankovic said that it was a popular revolution.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to make a joke about. Is that somebody told me that Victoria Nuland tape, and I didn't understand when they were saying it to me. It was just them talking to the Ukrainian leader that was being ousted, trying to help him out.
Ha!
And that was the wrong. And I was like, well, the tape I heard, she's talking to this guy. What's his name?
Jeffrey Pyatt.
Yeah, and so I know there's some kind of narrative that way that like, no, they were just like really trying to help him. And I'm like, why are they saying any of this shit? Like, why are they doing any of this?
It was one of the most watched versions of the intercepted and leaked conversations between the then Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland and Jeffrey Pyatt, the then U.S. ambassador of Ukraine. So she wasn't talking to somebody inside the Ukraine government. She was talking to the United States ambassador to Ukraine. So it was 2 people from the United States, in which the two discuss who will make up the new government weeks before democratically elected Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych was overthrown in a violent coup in February of 2014. The two talk about midwifing the unconstitutional change of government and gluing it together, and of the role then Vice President Joe Biden should play and what meetings to set up with Ukrainian. So they're mapping out the whole thing in this phone call of how they're going to do the coup. The U.S. State Department never denied the authenticity of the video and even issued an apology to the European Union after Nuland is heard on the tape saying, "Fuck the EU." Mainstream media at the time focused almost exclusively on that off-color remark, ignoring the greater significance of the United States interference in Ukraine's internal affairs. The video was posted on April 29, 2014, and had 181,533 views before it was taken down. And it was among the most viewed versions of that conversation on YouTube. 8 years' worth of comments on the video have also been removed. The removal of the video that had existed online for 8 years raises major questions as it comes during the war in Ukraine. Corporate media has studiously avoided mentioning the causes of the current conflict, that's true, including NATO's eastward expansion, the rejected Moscow Treaty proposals in December, the civil war in Donbass, and the 2014 coup in Kiev that led to the Donbass uprising and violent repression by the coup government. So that's true. They never mention any of this shit in the United States media, which is why the United States people don't know what's actually happening there. They don't censor lies. So when Matt Taibbi tweeted that out, I said they don't censor lies. It's the truth that scares them. Remember, Assange is in prison for telling the truth. So YouTube is going to take down the truth. They're not going to take down lies. Lies are okay. As long as they're a lie that props up the establishment, then it's okay.
Or you can put a ridiculous lie that's so ridiculous they can use it to smear someone telling the truth. You know, like,
yes.
What do you think,
if it's a lie that helps the establishment, they'll let it go.
The other crazy part about that video is not just that they're admitting to the coup and not just that they're saying fuck the EU, but when Nuland says that they need to have people like Tanya Book on the outside helping Yatsenyuk, Tanya Book was the individual that you and Max Blumenthal were discussing who said that he wanted to purge Ukraine of the Jews and Russians and believes Ukraine should only be for Ukrainians. He's the fifth most anti-Semitic political leader on the planet. So he was ranked.
Wait. Did you say Tanyan Book?
Yes.
And
I don't
the
know
other
if I
guy is
pronounced
who?
Tanya Buck. She pronounced it differently, but
And then
I think that's how you
Yatsen Book
spell
is the other one?
Tanya Book is the political person they wanted to have on the outside.
So, but there's an update to the story. They restored the video. So after there was all this outrage, YouTube was like, oh, okay, we better put that video up. Probably because it exists in a lot of other places too. Like I have it. I played it on my show. I'm sure a lot of people have. So there you go. They restored it. So you want to hear that again? I do actually want to hear it.
I think Yats is the guy who's got the economic experience, the governing experience. He's the guy, you know, what he needs is Cleach and Tawny Book on the outside. He needs to be taught.
He called him Tawny Book.
Tawny Book.
Tawny Book. That's a real Tawny Brook. Did they used to be a term for sports?
It's a Donnybrook.
A Donnybrook,
Yeah.
right? All right, so there you go. It's very suspicious censoring and then uncensoring. Isn't that interesting? Of course, they're not going to let us tell the truth about this stuff. And if we tell it,
midwifing
yeah,
a baby named Democracy.
midwifing a baby named Democracy in the most corrupt country in Europe, the Ukraine. And I'm going to keep saying the Ukraine and Kiev. I'm not going to say Kyiv. I might just say Ukraine. I might drop the.
Kyiv is a lot of nerve. I mean,
It is.
slip it in and not. They didn't even say, well, this is a Freedom Fries deal. They just like it was always.
Like
Kyiv.
it was, no, it was always Kyiv. No, it wasn't. It's Kiev. And I'm going to resist. And hey, Jackson, what the F did they do with the letter Z in Ukraine?
Ukraine and Latvia and Germany have banned the letters Z and V. So that's why I think we should all take their advice. We should call their president Volodymyr Zelensky now. Because there's no Z.
Oh, you just
no
drop
V.
it. They don't have a replacement Z?
Why would they do that? Why would they drop that?
Because there's a Russian Z movement or something, right?
Yeah, the Russians, depending on which direction the Russian troops are invading from Ukraine, which units, they have different letter markings. So one group is Z, one group is V, one group is O.
And so they decided to ban the Z and V because of this.
But we
Yeah,
need
but
O.
they kept the Nazis. They let them stay.
So they don't. So their alphabet just gets rid of those letters now. Is that what's happening? I don't understand. I really don't.
They banned them as signs of Russian aggression. So, for example, if someone were to spray paint a Z, you could be tried for supporting Russian terrorism.
What if someone would paint a Z and Zari? Come on, I get nothing on that.
What about the legendary hero Horo?
So you were selling Z T-shirts, weren't you?
Yes. And then they got banned.
They got banned? Your T-shirts got banned?
Yeah, the first website I sold them on, I just slapped a Z on a shirt when the letter Z got banned in these countries, and then the website banned my shirt. So then I had to put it on a new website.
Is it still up?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
You
good.
know what that reminds me of? When a long time ago, when the Crips and Bloods were really popping off in the 90s, and I saw a documentary, and this guy from the Bloods is like, yeah, we don't even say the letter C. Like, instead of candy, we say bandy or Buffy. I was like, wow, you guys are intense.
So maybe that's where they got it from. Maybe that's where the Ukrainians got it from. From the Bloods.
We say bandy.
Bandy girl. You are my world. You're everything. Hey, we're doing stand-up comedy in Irvine, California, Las Vegas, San Diego, Salt Lake City, Indianapolis, Louisville, all over the place. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for tickets.